Hello and welcome to Courts Today. I am Urvashi Chauhan with your daily roundup of legal updates from across the country. From Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray's factions' urgent plea in the Supreme Court over election symbol dispute to Rajdeep Sardesai withdrawing his appeal in the defamation case involving Shazia Ilmi, we will talk about the important legal updates. We also take a look at filmmaker Sujoy Ghosh's move to quash a copyright case over the film Kahani 2, the Delhi High Court's direction to DGCI on weight loss drug approvals, and the Madhya Pradesh High Court staying a retest order for the NEET UG 2025. Let us get started. Make sure to watch till the end and do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction has moved the Supreme Court over the bow and arrow symbol. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear a plea filed by Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena on 14th July now. The petition challenges the Election Commission's decision to recognize the Eknath Shinde group as the official Shiv Sena and allot them the party's bow and arrow symbol. Today, senior advocate Devdutt Kamath, appearing for the Uddhav faction, mentioned the matter before a partial working day bench of Justices M.M. Sundaresh and K. Vinod Chandran. Kamath sought urgent listing, citing the upcoming Maharashtra local body elections, which will be notified soon as per a previous Supreme Court order from 6th May. However, the court was not inclined to list the matter during the partial working days. The counsel for the Eknath Shinde group pointed out that on 7th May, Justice Suryakant's bench had already refused an urgent hearing in this case. But Kamath countered that Justice Kant's bench had permitted the matter to be mentioned during the court vacation period. He also referred to the NCP symbol dispute where the court had allowed Ajit Pawar group to use the party symbol with the condition that they advertise the matter is still pending before the court. Justice Sundaresh questioned the urgency again, to which Kamath replied that it involved the right of voters to choose and the need to avoid confusion ahead of the elections. After much persuasion, the bench finally agreed to list the matter for hearing on 14th July, that is when the Supreme Court resumes regular sittings. Senior journalist Rajdeep Sardesai today withdrew his appeal from the Delhi High Court in a defamation case filed by BJP leader Shazia Ilmi. For those of you who do not know, this case arose from a video and a tweet posted by Sardesai following a heated television debate on the Agniveer scheme on India Today, where Ilmi was one of the panelists. During the debate, Shazia abruptly exited the program, claiming that her microphone was deliberately cut off to suppress her voice. After the incident, Sardesai posted a video on social media platform X in which Ilmi could be seen walking away from the camera after the debate. Along with the video, he tweeted that Ilmi had chucked the mic, allegedly abused a video journalist and thrown him out of her house, adding that the journalist was only doing his job. Ilmi responded to this by filing a defamation suit, arguing that the video was recorded after she had withdrawn from the debate inside her private home and without her consent. She claimed this was a clear violation of her right to privacy and that Sardesai's version of events misrepresented her behavior and caused reputational harm. Previously, a single judge of the Delhi High Court ruled in Ilmi's favor in part. The court directed Sardesai to take down the portion of the video showing her walking away from the set, stating that her consent to being recorded had ended when she exited the live debate. The judge further noted that a person, especially in their own home, has a reasonable expectation of privacy once they step away from a live broadcast. However, the court also allowed Sardesai to retain parts of his tweet, including the initial portion and the statement that Ilmi abused the journalist, as these were found to be substantially true and protected under the truth defense. The court did not agree, however, with Sardesai's remark that Ilmi chucked the mic, calling it baseless and unsupported by the footage. Interestingly, the judge also imposed costs of 25,000 on Ilmi for having withheld 2 of her own tweets from the court, which were part of the same online thread. This omission was seen as suppression of material facts. Sardesai then approached a division bench of the Delhi High Court, challenging the single judge's order. Today, during the hearing, his counsel, senior advocate Rajiv Nair, argued that the court had misunderstood certain aspects of the video and questioned why elements like Ilmi's opening of her hair were even considered in the context of privacy. However, the bench comprising Justice Naveen Chawla and Justice Renu Bhatnagar was unconvinced. The judges made strong oral remarks stating that once Ilmi had walked away from the interview and into her private space, continuing to record and post such footage clearly infringed on her privacy. They said that even if she had not explicitly stopped the camera, the act of leaving the interview and walking away from the frame should have been understood as withdrawal of consent. The court also noted that Sardesai's tweet was not protected by journalistic privilege, as it was not part of a formal news report but rather a personal comment on social media. Ilmi's lawyer further pointed out that the video in question was not aired by the channel but was shared separately by Sardesai on his own platform, with additional comments intensifying the privacy violation. After hearing the court's remarks and sensing the lack of support for his appeal, Sardesai chose to withdraw the case. Well, the court permitted the withdrawal and the single judge's ruling now stands as final. The Supreme Court has issued notice on a petition filed by National Award-winning director Sujoy Ghosh seeking to quash a criminal case accusing him of copyright infringement over his 2016 film Kahani 2, Durga Rani Singh. The complaint was filed under Section 63 of the Copyright Act, alleging that the film was based on a stolen script. A bench of justices P.S. Narasimha and R. Madhavan issued notices to the state of Jharkhand and the complainant while granting exemption from personal appearance to Sujoy Ghosh before the magistrate during the proceedings. This case began when a man named Umesh Prasad Mehta filed a complaint before the Chief Judicial Magistrate Hazaribagh, claiming that Ghosh had used his script titled Sabak to make Kahani 2, which starred Vidya Balan and was released in December 2016. Mehta alleged that he handed over the script to Ghosh in June 2015, requesting a recommendation letter for registration with the Film Producers Association. He claimed that the storyline was lifted to create Kahani 2. Ghosh has strongly denied the allegations, stating that he began writing Kahani 2 in November 2012 and registered the final script in December 2013, which is 2 years before he was allegedly given Sabak. He also denied meeting Mehta or ever receiving his script. The case reached the Jharkhand High Court when Ghosh filed a petition under Section 482 of CRPC seeking to quash the criminal proceedings. However, the High Court dismissed the plea, saying that the merits of the case must be decided at trial. Before the Supreme Court, Ghosh challenged this decision, arguing that the magistrate issued the summoning order mechanically without comparing the two scripts or applying judicial might. The petition said that the complaint was filed with self-serving and baseless allegations, and allowing such cases would set a dangerous precedent, enabling harassment of honest filmmakers without any real evidence. Ghosh also raised an objection about territorial jurisdiction, stating that all alleged events took place in Mumbai, while the complaint was filed in Hazaribagh in Jharkhand. The Supreme Court has now issued notice and will examine whether the criminal case deserves to be quashed or not. Stay tuned with Live Law. In a world obsessed with quick fixes, weight loss pills promising instant results can seem like a dream come true. They can sound like an easy way to get fit, but not all of them are properly tested or safe. Before you take one, it's important to know what it could do to your health. Well, in this regard, the Delhi High Court today took up a PIL concerning the approval of certain drug combinations being sold in the market for weight loss treatment. The petition was filed by Jitendra Choksi, who alleged that these drugs were being licensed and marketed without sufficient clinical trials, proper data, or assessment of potential health risks. Choksi's counsel argued that under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, it is the Drug Controller General of India, that is DGCI, who is legally responsible for ensuring the safe use of drugs in India. According to the petition, representations had already been made to the Union of India and the DCGI earlier in April this year, raising red flags about the approvals granted for these drug combinations. Taking note of the concerns raised, a bench comprising Chief Justice D.K. Upadhyay and Justice Tushar Rao Gadela observed that the matter ought to be considered by the statutory authority first, that is, the DGCI. The court directed Choksi to make an additional representation to it, submitting all relevant documents and materials that had been placed before the court. This new representation, the court said, would be in addition to the one already submitted in April and must be filed within 2 weeks. The court also ordered DCGI to consult not only experts but also stakeholders such as drug manufacturers before arriving at any decision. The DCGI has been given 3 months timeline to consider the matter and take an appropriate decision as per the law. Moving further, the Madhya Pradesh High Court has today stayed a single judge's order that had directed National Testing Agency to conduct a retest of NEET UG 2025 for candidates affected by power outage at exam centers in Indore and Ujjain. A division bench comprising Justice Vivek Rusia and Justice Binod Kumar Dwivedi passed the interim order after hearing an appeal filed by the NTA. The agency told the council that several writ appeals, both supporting and challenging the earlier order, were expected and that all those appeals would need to be heard together. Until that happens, it would not be practical to implement the retest order for a limited number of candidates. Taking note of these submissions, the court temporarily stayed the operation of the June 23rd order passed by Justice Subodh Abhyankar only in relation to the retest directive until the next hearing, which is scheduled for 10th July now. However, the division bench made it clear that a key direction from the single judge will remain in effect. That is, any counselling done on or after 1st July will be subject to the final outcome of the pending petitions. This means that further admissions will be provisional until the issue is fully resolved. The issue had first reached the High Court through a batch of writ petitions filed by NEET UG candidates who claimed that they were unfairly disadvantaged by power cuts during the exam. They argued that their exam rooms were poorly lit and lacked ventilation, making it difficult to attempt the paper properly. Let me also tell you that during the hearing, the single judge had actually turned off the lights in his courtroom to understand the petitioner's experience. The judge noted that while the courtroom had large windows that allowed in some natural light, the exam centers may not have had the same advantage. The court found that the petitioners were put at a disadvantage for no fault of their own and held that this violated their right to equality under Article 14 of the Constitution. But now, with multiple appeals expected from different sides, the division bench has hit pause on the retest direction, at least for now. The matter will now be heard on 10th July, like I said, when the court will take a more comprehensive view of all the pending appeals. In another update, a division bench of Jammu and Kashmir High Court has stayed a single judge's order that had directed Ministry of Home Affairs to repatriate or bring back a 63-year-old Pakistani origin woman who was deported from India after the 22nd April Pahalgam terror attack this year. The woman, Ms. Rakshanda Rashid, had been living in India for 38 years, married to an Indian citizen, and was staying on a long-term visa that was renewed annually. She had also applied for Indian citizenship in 1996, which remained pending. However, she was deported to Pakistan on 30th April, allegedly without any specific or reasoned order from the authorities. Last week, Justice Rahul Bharti, hearing her petition, had ruled that the deportation lacked due process and violated her human rights. He called it a case that demanded SOS-like indulgence from the Constitutional Court and directed the Ministry of Home Affairs to take steps for her return to India. But now the Union of India and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir have challenged that order through a letters patent appeal. The government argued that her visa had expired and her presence in India had become unauthorized. They also pointed to national security concerns, especially after the Pahalgam attack, which prompted a general cancellation of visas issued to Pakistani nationals. Ms. Rashid, however, has claimed that she had applied for the LTV renewal in January this year, and since it was never officially rejected, she was still legally residing in India at the time of her deportation. On admitting the appeal, the division bench led by Chief Justice Arun Palli has put on hold the repatriation order, and the stay will continue until the matter is fully heard. And lastly, the Delhi High Court today came down heavily on the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, New Delhi Municipal Council and the Delhi Development Authority over poor condition of public toilets in the city, calling it a case of complete apathy and insensitivity. A division bench led by Chief Justice D.K. Upadhyay and Justice Tushar Rao Gadela was hearing a public interest petition filed by Jan Seva Welfare Society, which seeks better maintenance and access to hygienic public urinals in Delhi with proper water and electricity supply. The court noted that despite the authorities submitting status reports detailing the steps taken, the photographs submitted by the petitioner's counsel showed a starkly different picture. Toilets in poor, unhygienic and unusable condition. The bench expressed strong displeasure, stating that municipal and development bodies cannot be reminded again and again that they are created to serve the public and operate on public money. The court said that the photographs submitted were not isolated examples and that toilets across Delhi likely suffer similar conditions. It specifically highlighted the additional challenges this causes for women, noting that lack of basic sanitation severely impacts their dignity and safety. Calling the situation hurting and unfortunate, the court directed MCD, NDMC, and DDA to take up the issue at the highest level. It has ordered each body to prepare a comprehensive plan to improve public convenience services in their areas based on expert study and recommendations. While the matter was listed for hearing after 2 months, the court issued interim directions. These include that authorities must take immediate steps to ensure public toilets remain functional and hygienic. The MCD was specifically directed to repair and restore the toilets shown in the photographs filed in the court. The councils were asked to take up the matter with the heads of their respective bodies like the MCD Commissioner, NDMC Chairperson, and DDA Vice Chairman.